Hello YouTubers, I'd kind of like to do a little book review on a book I just got done reading called LISEY'S Story. This is what the hardback cover looks like. It's really beautiful. I don't know where the jacket went, but it's usually white and it has a shovel that shows through and has this as the background. But it's basically about a woman who's probably about 50, 55 or so. She's a widow for about 2 years or so before she finally starts clearing out her writer husband's his little office above the barn. And she's got, of course, people calling her saying, "Oh, your husband, he's got to have all these unpublished writings and everything. We want it, you know, we want it for this and this college, or we want it for this museum, we want it for this." Just, she can get tons of money out of it, but it's an arduous project because it's tons of stuff to go through. They've got all these books, all these boxes, all these shelves, just tons of stuff that she would have to go through. And it's basically starts with that. Her sister starts having mental problems, and then she starts getting an extra excited man, put it that way, calling her, wanting stuff of her husband's, and it just goes from there. I can't tell you too much or it ruins the whole story, but basically what you see on the cover is a fairy tale place that LISEY'S husband, Scott, had made up as a child, and it was sort of a place that they went to, he and his brother went to when their father abused him, or his brother, and they called it Booyah Moon, and it was okay during the day, and it was beautiful like this is, but at night, everything kind of became decrepit, and everything smelled. You shouldn't eat the fruit in the middle of the night, it will poison you, and things like that, you know, everything goes bad. It's really weird, and it has its own mythology and everything, but you basically just get there by meditating, imagining yourself in that place, and then you literally go there physically. And so it's about her remembering him telling her these things when they first got married, rediscovering how to get there, and really using this place, Booyah Moon, for her own purposes, shall we put it that way. Now, basically, this book is from 2006, so this is very recent. This is after his accident and after a lot of his problems, Stephen King, that is. And so it's really touching. It's different. Now, yeah, it's got a horror twist to it, but mostly it's psychological and it's emotional. It's like a drama. It's like if you watch a drama movie on LMN or something, only with Sci-Fi Channel mixed in. She's going through a loss, and she hasn't really grieved since her husband died, and she's sort of thawing out. During this whole book, her character is rediscovering things, remembering things from her marriage, and just really grieving for him. And I'm about to cry thinking about it because it's just so sad, because I'm a newlywed. Here in March of this year, I'll have been married for a year, and God, just reading this was like, is completely different. If I had have read this 2 years ago, I would not have felt the same way as I do now reading it. I mean, I was so touched, you know, some of the stuff that he put in here, you know. I think it was inspired by his own marriage, because he's a writer and his wife has to follow him around on the tours and just smile and just kind of be there. And, you know, it's different to read something this traumatic come out of Stephen King. Basically, his father is depressive, and it runs in the family, and they either go completely nuts or they really handle their depression by cutting. And sometimes he actually cuts the boys as a way to get out his feelings and then be like, okay, it's all good, you know. And he expresses love, but mostly it's really scary. And he's actually not a drunk. He became so in his last days before he died. But, you know, so you do see abusive relationships, which I think runs abundant in Stephen King books, actually. But at the same time, it's not so much that. It's mostly Booyah Moon. he has a creature that has sort of attached to him for a long while, and he calls it his long boy, and you see it referred to in the beginning of the book, so I'm not gonna, be revealing too much, but so you keep hearing a reference back to his long boy, and you later on hear the story, but it's just this creature, you don't even know what it looks like, that just follows him, and if he gets sick or starts to die for some reason, there's a couple times where he gotten shot, he's close to death, he's like, oh, the long boy's right there, and it's just like waiting for him to die and eat him. It's weird. So most of it's about Booyah Moon, his travels there. He usually travels there to get better. There's a pool sort of thing, so it's mostly about that and their relationship and her marriage, and a lot of things just come surfaced during this whole time, and I don't know. I'm probably not explaining it well enough to really give it a good service to it, because it's actually really good. So if anyone is interested in a very recent book by Stephen King that isn't horror, but it is definitely psychological, it's definitely fantasy, but it's definitely very moving, it's very different, go on and check it out.